Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's another beautiful September morning. Let's jump into the shop and we're going to work on a butcher block countertop this morning. So it's been a little while since we've been in here. We've been working on all kinds of other projects, and I have an order for 2 pieces of butcher block countertop, and it's been a while since we did any countertop work, so I know I have a lot of new viewers. I figured I'd bring you in here and we'd make this countertop together. So this one is maple, and you can see here I've got some odds and ends, 8/4 maple pieces. Nothing fancy, it's kind of common grade wood, got a few knots here and there, but we're gonna turn this rough sawn common grade wood into some beautiful countertops. So I've explained this in videos in the past. I'll give you a brief overview here and give you some action as I'm working on the stuff. Basically what's gonna happen, I'm gonna plane this stuff into this particular countertop is going to be 25 inches wide, so I'm making strips and I'm going to plane it to a thickness that adds up to 25 inches, because what I'm doing, I'm planing both sides, then I'm ripping strips and I'm turning those strips 90 degrees. So these are actually my glue faces, and I do that because my planer planes smooth enough that gives me a nice glue edge, and then I rip it to the thickness of the countertop and I turn it. So my rip strips are actually, I'm ripping thickness, turn them. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm gonna get these cleaned up. Some of them need to be run over the jointer. A few of them are dead straight. They can just go through the planer. Some of them need to be cut in half because they have some bow to them. So I'm gonna work at that, getting these nice and flat. And then we're gonna rip our strips, and we're gonna start laying out our countertop. All right, so I got all my strips cut. They're looking pretty good. You can see I got my sawn side here, that goes up and down, and then my plane side is what actually gets glued together. So now I get to take this mismatched jumble of strips and start laying it out. This is actually the fun part. So I'm gonna take it on the radial arm saw here, square them up, and start laying them out on the table here. So I'm doing these in 2 sections since it's 25 inches. I'm not going to glue up 25 inches all in one shot. I'm going to do roughly a 12.5 and a 12.5. Glue them up, plane them, clamp that together, it just becomes more easy to work with. It's easier to manage and try to fight with all those strips in one shot. So I'm gonna start laying out my sections here, and then we'll take it next door and glue it up. All right, I got it all laid out exactly how I want it. Got my joints staggered. You'll notice a little bit of burning here from the straight line rip saw. That's no problem. When we plane this, it's gonna plane it right out. It's gonna clean this all up real nice. So she's set. I'm gonna get to gluing. Gonna use Titebond 3, same as I always use. This stuff works great. Been using it for years. I've talked about it in past videos. So I'm gonna lay these all over. Glue, stand them up, sandwich them, clamp them. Let's get to it. Lots of strips to manage here. Definitely helps to have a rack like I'm using. Sorry it's not the tidiest in here. Just gonna have to look past that. All right. Tip's a little clogged up. That's better. I'm not going to be shy with the glue because any squeeze out will just get planed off anyway. Better off having too much than not enough. About time for a new bottle. I buy this stuff by the gallon and then I just reuse these bottles, but they start getting crowded up. Must have some dried stuff in there. Keeps working its way up to the tip. Let's just do this a messy way. It's also the fast way. Can't say I usually do it like this, but you know, when you're in the middle of a glue up, you don't have a whole lot of time to fiddle around. Once you start, you can't really stop to fiddle with a glue bottle. All right. Give them a little wiggle, spread that glue around. Nothing left to do but watch the glue dry. More clamps are definitely your friend on a project like this. I may actually add 1 or 2 more to this when I'm done recording here. So I'm doing an 8-foot section and a 3-foot section. This is half of the 8-foot section. I'm gonna let this dry all day. Before I leave tonight, I'm gonna flip-flop it, do the other 8-foot section, and tomorrow I'll glue everything together and we'll finish it up. But countertops are always kind of a waiting game. If I had one of those big fancy clamp racks, I could do it all in one shot, but I don't. So I have to glue it up in stages, which is fine. You just have to plan ahead a little bit. So I'll bring it back when the glue dries and we'll keep working on it. All right, I got everything glued up. Got my 4 halves here. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but you know, you shouldn't judge a butcher block by its glue squeeze out. We're gonna run this through the planer. The planer's gonna do its magic. It's gonna make this thing look beautiful. This will clean up this paper for me. I used to peel every little bit of this off, but you know what? The planer shaves it off. It goes up to the dust collection, no big deal. So these are ready to plane. Speaking of planing and, well, the planer working its beauty, check out these 2 walnut slabs I just planed. These are going out the door. They're pretty nice, 13 foot long, really neat looking stuff. Just had to show you guys that. I literally just planed it before I started here. But we're getting off topic, so let's get back on task here. Let's plane these up, then we're gonna run them through the sander. We're gonna make sure the edges are tight enough. If I have to run them over the jointer, I will. And then we're gluing these together for our big 25-inch countertops. Well, that sander makes a mess, doesn't it? That's one machine I struggle with no matter what I try to do. I just can't get the dust collection to work as good as I'd like it to. So I end up making a big mess and cleaning it up, but it does save me a lot of time sanding. So now this is it, my final glue up. You rarely see me pre-glue or pre-clamp stuff, dry fit it. This one I do, because this is a very important glue up. I'm going to try to keep this joint as even and flat as possible. And then you just got a real light sanding to sand that seam out. So it pays to really take your time and set this up right. Do a good job. This one you'll see I have clamps below and we put clamps above. When you're clamping something this wide, you need to balance your clamping force. If you clamp everything from the top, it'll start to pull it and you'll actually create a cup. So you got to pull from the top and the bottom to keep everything dead flat. So with that being said, I'm going to start gluing here. New bottle of glue. Beautiful, fancy, works nice. It's the simple things in life. Honestly, a lot of this is just done by feel. It's the best way to do it. Work it as you go. Here at the end, sometimes you got to use another clamp to get some leverage. Get it back in where you want it. I will clean up some of this glue squeeze out here. Setting this upright probably takes much longer than you realize, so rather than feel like I'm being watched here and under pressure, I'm just going to jump ahead here, and you'll see what it's like when it's all done, because it's easier to work with it when the glue's wet than try to sand a bunch off when the glue's dry. So sorry guys, I need focus here. I know what you're thinking. What a great YouTube content creator. He cuts out when all the action happens. Well, you got to do what you got to do to get the job done. This is all glued up, 3-foot sections glued up on the floor there, and it looks good. I'm super happy with it. The joint's going to be real nice. I'm going to let this dry overnight, come back, I'll hand sand the whole top, sand off this glue, and it'll be perfect. Another tip I'll give you guys, look at your clamps. There should be no gap underneath. That should be dead flat. These bar clamps are dead flat, or if you're using the pipe clamps, they're dead straight. So as long as your top follows that clamp and you don't see daylight in the center or on the edges, you're good. That'll give you a nice dead flat top. If you do see a crown, well, you better work quick to fix that before the glue dries. Either your joint isn't right or your clamping pressure is not right. Something's causing that to fall, which is no good. So this is good. This will sit overnight. So I'll come back in the morning. We'll sand it, cut it, send it down the road. Morning. Still kind of dark out. Let's get these clamps pulled off and sand this baby up. Well, there you have it. So I could probably end this video right here, right now, and you guys would think, boy, he did a nice job on that. He really knows what he's doing. I thought about doing that. Then I thought, well, I gotta tell you guys the truth. I just realized I screwed up. You know the saying, Measure twice, cut once. I'm sure you've all heard that. Well, I'm going to put a little twist on that. Check your order twice. Build once. Cut once. This whole time I thought I was 8 foot exactly. I don't know why. I've been sitting on this order about 2 weeks, and I just went and built it. And this morning I double checked. 8'4". And I only had 8'2" here. So guess what? Yeah, this beautiful countertop you see, it's for sale. I got to start from scratch and build another one. I'm not proud of this. I can't say it has happened often, if ever, before, but oh yeah. Luckily I'm not on a hard deadline for this, so I'm gonna jump on this today and change up my plans and get another one of these built. I'm sure if you've been watching the channel for a while, you realize I always have a bunch of projects going at the same time, and I jump around. That's why a lot of these videos are filmed over a couple days, even weeks, as I jump from one thing to the next, you know, shuffling these orders. And well, some things fall through the cracks. Try not to. I try to send everything out the door correctly, so that's why this is getting redone. So, beautiful 25-inch by 8-foot long maple countertop. Done. Available. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing, but 4 inches too short is no good, so get to redo it. I had to be honest with you guys. I'm not perfect by any means. I don't want to come across as perfect, but at least I gave you an idea of what it's supposed to look like, so now I can hustle up and make another one. The 3-foot section down there, that's fine. That was right. I don't know. For some reason in my head, I guess I rounded down to 8 foot and 3 foot, but it's actually 8'4" and 3 foot. So, gonna do it again. This is it for us, though. So, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.